Hey guys, it's Doug. Welcome back to PoleArms. It's been a second since you guys have seen me, since I've put up a new video, new content. Um, quite honestly, my life outside the YouTuberverse in the real world has gotten or continued to get more and more hectic and crazy. So I just haven't had the time or quite honestly, the motivation to put up a new video. So it's been a second, but that's all going to change tonight. Finally, have some new content for you, new video. Um, Tonight, I'm going to talk about something I wanted to talk about since kind of sort of the beginning of this channel. It's been on my kind of short list of videos that I wanted to make, and it just seemed it kept getting bumped down the list. So I think tonight I'm finally going to tackle it. And we're going to talk about grips, pistol and rifle grips, sleeves, grip tape, the different varieties of aftermarket grips you can put on your different guns. Originally, the video was going to be a review specifically of Hogue grips. I discovered Hogue grips last year or maybe the year before, and very quickly became a huge fan. But I started thinking about it, and there are other grips that I used prior to Hogue, and other grips I've used after discovering Hogue, and they each have their own pros and cons. They each have their own merits. So I decided to kind of take you on a journey, a very special journey. Through all the different grips I've used, talk about them, give a quick review of each, pros and cons of each, and just kind of let you see some of the different grips that are out there, and who knows, you might hear something or see something in this video that will turn you on to a new grip that will help you out. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so on the table in front of me, we've got a bunch of guns, a bunch of different grips. So let's just go ahead and begin at the beginning. My first real carry gun, the Springfield XD Model 1 pre-grip zone shenanigans, none of that. Model 1 XD, first real carry gun and first aftermarket grip purchase from Talon grips. These are Talon grips. They are just basically a grip tape that is cut to your specific pistol. Talon Grips has a long list of pistols that they custom cut grips for. All one piece, wrap around. Let me show you a different version here so you can actually see what they completely look like. This is the Talon grip for my Glock 43. But again, all one piece, completely wraps around the entire grip. As you can see, around the back strap, around the other side. All one piece, and then you just basically you leave a little flap open, you tuck it underneath, so it all becomes relatively seamless. Now they have both the rubberized version, which you see here. All the Talon grips I ever purchased are the rubberized, the textured rubberized versions. They also have a sandpaper texture. I do not like those, never have, never will. A lot of guys do. For me, too aggressive, hurts to hold, hurts to shoot, and forget about carrying it, against your skin or against, an undershirt. Just too aggressive and too rough. So I like the rubberized. But again, you do have options with Talon grips. You can get the sandpaper or the rubberized. Again, all one piece, wraps around, easy installation. It's again just basically grip tape. But it's a relatively mild adhesive. You can put it on there and remove it and reposition it to make sure you get the proper proper fit. And then after you have it where you want it, you take a hair dryer with high heat, and you go around the entire grip and push it into place. Make sure that adhesive sets. You want to make sure all the edges are down. All the grooves are pushed in. And then once it's heated, it's in place, and it stays in place. I carried this XD for years, and that grip does not move. Once it's in place, it does not move. If you need to reposition it, you can take it off. Really, it's a good idea to heat it again to kind of soften that adhesive. You can peel it off, reposition it, reheat it fairly easily. Pretty good to go. The other pro of Talon grips is they also sell, I think this was like an extra $1. They sell custom cut grips for your magazine extensions. So this XD has a magazine extension. A lot of other guns do. The Glock, for instance, a little bit of an extension there, a little pinky extension. They custom cut grip tape for your extensions, which is nice. Talon grips also, in addition to the custom cut grips, they also sell sheets of the grip material. I think they're just shy of 8.5 by 11. But it's a sheet of the material, both in the rubberized and the sandpaper textures. So you can just buy a sheet and cut out any shapes you want. So I went ahead and cut out, a little thumb pad, for my support hand. Same on the Glock, little thumb pad there. You can use it for anything though. I have one of my small gun safes upstairs has a little dial that you turn to open it, and it's slick plastic. So I just cut out basically some half circle pieces for either side of that knob to give me something to grab onto. Works great. So that's an added bonus with the Talon grips, but they're fantastic grips. I love them. Again, for years and years. I put them on all of my guns. Had zero issues with them. I will say that I just very recently, like 2 days ago, took the Talon grips off of my bodyguard. But I cut different pieces, different small pieces. Again, a little thumb pad. But I also cut a small oval piece for the pinky extension, the magazine pinky extension. And I will say that on a gun that, and this is just my work pocket pistol, just a workhorse. It's in my pocket. I'm a house painter. It would be covered in caulk and primer and paint and pocket lint, things like that. And quick note, a lot of guns on the table. I'm not going to go through and show that each one is clear and safe. You're just going to have to take my word for it. So please, nobody out there lose their friggin' minds about me handling these guns. And take my word for it. They're all safe. They're good to go. Okay. So anyway, that being said, this is in my pocket. It's a workhorse. Got dirty, funky. The little pieces. Exposed to heat, your body heat, if you're carrying it in your pocket, whatever, they will start to slide around. Like this little piece that was on here, not a whole lot of material, not a whole lot to grip onto, not a lot of surface area to grip onto, and they would start to slide. That adhesive would start to slide. And it would come off, and you would have to reposition it. The main grips, the big grips for the actual grip of your pistol, once they're in place, they're not going anywhere. But the small pieces do tend to move on you once they get heated up. But really, just kind of a small, minor negative. not a deal breaker by any stretch. So anyway, love those grips. They were my sole go-to grip for any gun for years and years. Then my father came to visit. He had a VP9 subcompact. This gun has interchangeable back straps, as well as palm swells on the side. He let me hold that gun, and when I did, it was kind of a game changer for me. I had never held a gun that had those kind of, I don't want to say severe, but definitely substantial, noticeable palm swells on the side. And the way that small gun, that small grip filled my hand. I have relatively decent sized mitts. So the way it filled my hand, it was great. I loved it. So I got it in my head that I really wanted to try to find some aftermarket grip sleeve of some kind that would provide me with that palm swell. I had just recently, at the time, purchased my Performance Center Shield. That had become my new everyday carry. Which so the Shield comes. It's a very narrow, thin grip, which is fine. It felt good in my hand. But like I said, that VP9 kind of ruined it for me because it felt so good in my hand with those palm swells. I wanted to find something that would mimic that, and that's when I discovered Hogue. This is the Hogue Handall grip. It has, let's see if you can see that in the light here, has rounded palm swells that really hit your palm right where they need to hit to fill up larger hands. It just feels really good. You feel like you're really getting a really solid purchase on that gun. You're making contact with all, that entire surface, that entire side of the grip. Also has an extended beaver tail grip, goes up all the way up onto the beaver tail, which really, it's you don't see that in a lot of aftermarket grips, especially the slip-on sleeves. Yeah, you don't really see that, and that really just feels good. You get that high purchase on that beaver tail, and that grip's there to give you that extra texture, that extra purchase. Also, now of course the Shield has a shorter grip, so this only has one finger groove, but it does have a finger groove, so that's another feature that I really fell in love with when I purchased this grip, the finger groove, to the point where now I really want finger grooves on any aftermarket grip. You're not going to find them obviously with the grip tape styles like the Talon, but any slip-on grip now I would prefer to have finger grooves, at least one, because it really does make a difference. You can really feel when you get a grip on that pistol, the finger groove combined with the palm swell, the beaver tail, it all comes together. You get a grip on that, and you really feel that you're able to torque that pistol down and really mitigate any muzzle flip. And it does. This is a great shooting gun, very smooth. It's the Performance Center ported barrel. Obviously ported slide, shoots very well. This grip makes it an even better shooter, a more accurate shooter, quicker follow-up shots, because all these features do really help you mitigate that muzzle flip by allowing you to torque that pistol downward, keep it on target. So it's fantastic. So I fell in love with Hogue, became pretty brand loyal to Hogue. Again, not that there was anything wrong with the Talon grips. It's just I was looking for additional features, found those features with Hogue, and then really never looked back. Started to put Hogue on basically just about everything else. I mean, you can even see originally had the Talon grips on the shield. Left them on there because I wasn't sure at first if I was going to like the Hogue, so I didn't see any point in ripping off the Talon grips, which I knew I liked. But once I got the Hogue on there, fell in love with it, and then it worked out that that the areas of the grip not covered by the Hogue were covered by the Talon grips, so they actually work well together. So that's something for you to consider. Doing a 1-2 punch where you can get the Talon grips for your pistol and then get the Hogue and slide it right on top, and then you have complete coverage of your grip. So something to consider. But yeah, fell in love with the Hogue, so I immediately went out and bought one for my bodyguard. Again, same thing. It's the Hogue handall. You have the beaver tail extension as well as a single finger groove. And as much as that, now this does not have the palm swell. Smaller grip, much smaller pistol. So they did not include the palm swell on this, but it doesn't really matter because the two features that really help with this small pocket pistol are the beaver tail extension and that finger groove. Because I mean, it's a little pocket pistol, a little pocket 380. You're not going to get your pinky on no matter what you do. You're only going to get that third finger on if you have the pinky extension magazine. If you have the flush mag in, you're not even going to get that third finger on there, at least not completely. So that pinky is always going to float. With that single finger groove, you are really able to get a solid purchase on this very small gun. Now, it doesn't have a lot of kick, not a lot of muzzle flip. What little muzzle flip there is, that finger groove really helps you to torque that pistol down and mitigate that muzzle flip as little as it is, mitigate it even further. So I highly recommend. I love this grip on the shield, but really highly recommend it on a small pocket pistol like the bodyguard. So big thumbs up there. And then I just kept on going because I love them so much. I bought some Hogue grips for my Beretta 92G Brigadier. The Wilson Combat version came with some really nice olive drab G10 grips, but I had already become a huge fan of Hogue, so I wanted to upgrade my Beretta with Hogue grips, and these things are fantastic. These obviously aren't slip-on like the others. These are the screw-on, just like the original Beretta grips. But if you can look at the fit and finish, I mean, there's no doubt these things are custom made for this model pistol. And you can see just the fit and the finish and how tight everything is. Fantastic grips. Now full size gun, full size grips. So you have now you have the two finger grooves, or really I guess three finger grooves, two ridges, which again, now you can really get just a super tight, solid grip on this gun, even more so than with the original grips without the finger grooves. Now I know there are two different schools of thought. There are fans of and naysayers of finger grooves on grips. I, for one, love them. So big fan. But yeah, so I mean, this is a great shooting gun, and these Hogue grips with the finger grooves make it an even better shooter. Love that. So I love those so much. I just wanted to keep going, wanted to keep buying Hogue, and so I went ahead and bought some Hogue grips for my AR-15. Again, good old finger grooves, you know, the high beaver tail, that pebbleized, or I'm sorry, pebble texture, rubberized texture on the grip. And now the grip I had, well, the grip that this gun came with was, you know, was a piece of junk. I immediately switched out for, I believe it was a Fab Defense grip, which was a nice grip. Also rubberized, textured rubber, but had to get the Hogue, had to upgrade to the Hogue and switched it out, and it's worked out fantastically. So huge fan of Hogue. Can't say anything bad about them. The slip-on sleeves, I mean, once they're in they're kind of a bitch to put on. They're kind of notoriously difficult. Some of them, some of the cuts, some of the cuts, some of the custom cuts are easier than others, but some of them can be kind of a bear. But if you just follow the included instructions and actually do everything they say in the instructions and don't try to wing it and reinvent the wheel, just do what they say to do. And then after you do it a couple times, it's really not that bad, and it becomes you know, a pretty easy process. But once they're on, they are on. They're not going to torque or tweak or slide around or move around on you. They are in place. So that's a huge deal. So we're going to get into a couple other grips that all revolve around this gun right here, my Canik TP9 SFL. This is my current IDPA competition gun. Love this gun. Fantastic gun. The issue is Hogue, which I've already stated I fell in love with, became brand loyal to. Hogue does not make a custom grip for this gun. Talk to their customer service. They have zero plans to make a custom grip for this gun anytime soon. But then I found the Hogue Universal, just kind of a generic universal grip for large frame guns. It says on the front of the package rather, that fits all models of Glocks. You flip over the package on the back, it has a long grocery list of different model guns that it fits. Canik, nowhere to be found on that list, but I bought it anyway as an experiment. I think it was only $10 or $11, no big deal. Brought it home, put it on. Obviously, I mean, it's just not size-wise, it's not meant for this pistol. The main thing is this pistol has a pretty severe curve, a drop-off at the bottom of the grip that this universal grip does not accommodate. So I put this thing on, and no matter how I kind of canted it or tweaked it, there was still a pretty substantial overhang. You turned it over, and there was a pretty substantial air gap between the back of the pistol grip and the grip sleeve, to where I would go to grab it, and the heel of my palm would kind of push into this push into this overhang and kind of flap it, and it just really kind of set off my OCD, and I really couldn't get on board with it 100%. So I started looking around. I needed to find something else. I came across another brand of grips that I've seen up on the shelves for years and years and years, and I've always kind of passed by them because just design-wise, aesthetically, they never really appealed to me. But then I came across this. It's the Pachmayr. I believe I'm saying that right. Pachmayr. This is the tactical grip glove, is what this one is called. Looks a lot cooler than some of the other, more standard plain Pachmayr grips that I've seen on the shelves over the years. Looked at it, had the finger grooves, had what seemed like a more severe kind of curve at the bottom of the back, like my Canic. This one was actually intended for what was it? The M&P full size. But again, it was about $10 or $11, pretty comparable to the Hogue. Decided to roll the dice, brought it home, put it on, and it fit. It fit very well. This, unlike the Hogues, the Pachmayr, at least the tactical grip glove, is a lot thinner and a lot more elastic, a lot stretchier. So when I put it on the Canic, it conformed to the grip very nicely. It even conformed to the this weird oval recess that houses the pin that keeps the back strap in place. It even conformed to that. So I was pretty stoked. I actually had a grip that fit this gun, had some finger grooves, felt pretty good in the hand. Then I shot it in a couple local matches, and I noticed that in between each stage, so local matches, or at least my local matches have 4 stages. I noticed that the first match I shot it in, I noticed that at the end of the night, this thing had worked its way kind of almost all the way around. Everything was out of line. The finger grooves were out of line. Everything was kind of tweaked and torqued and twisted. The next time I shot it, I started noticing that it was after each stage. So after basically each stage, which has, give or take 18 to 20 rounds being shot, after each stage, I was having to step out and readjust the sleeve because it was twisting on me. Then, which wasn't a deal breaker because again, it was the only thing for the Canic I could really find. It checked a lot of boxes for me, so I was kind of willing to deal with the hassle for a bit. But then I started noticing and following matches that the finger grooves, I was kind of feeling the gun, the muzzle. I thought the muzzle was flipping up, even though I was having a good solid grip on the gun, and I realized it was because these finger grooves, again, this is very thin rubber, very elastic, and the finger grooves are very pliable. Okay, they move very easily. They're not as thick and hard rubber, not as substantial as the Hogue. And so I was gripping this thing, and my fingers, the gun was literally kind of flipping in my grip. So those two things combined kind of threw me off on the thing, and I realized I really needed to do something else. got online, and this is got on Pachmayr's website. These were not to be found anywhere around here on the shelves, but on their website they had this guy, which is called the Gripper. It is a universal grip sleeve like the Hogue, and you can kind of tell that they are or they were trying to, I think directly compete with Hogue and put out a universal product that was a little more substantial, not as thick and substantial as the Hogue, but definitely thicker and more substantial than the tactical grip glove, for sure. Finger grooves definitely thicker, a little more substantial. This also has a little bit of a palm swell, not as substantial as the Hogue, and also a different shape. The Hogue is much more natural. It's much more concave and rounded. These are, I don't even know if you can see that in the light, but these are very noticeably more like rectangular or trapezoidal, which for me didn't really fit my palm as well as any of the Hogue products. Sorry, just my AR-15 falling on the floor. No big deal. Jesus. Okay. Hope nothing expensive on that thing broke, because I'd be upset. But we'll check it out later. So anyway, so yeah, didn't really like the palm swell nearly as much as the Hogue products, but also like the Hogue Universal, it didn't fit on the Canic very well. It also had that overhang at the bottom back of the grip. So again, I would grip the gun and my palm would kind of push into that overhang. Now I was able to kind of tweak this one kind of down a little bit to where there wasn't as much of an air gap, but then it brought that top edge a little too far down on that back strap, to where when I was grabbing it, it was just kind of annoying. I could feel that kind of thicker rubber edge kind of dig into my palm in a weird spot, and it was just kind of a weird feel. Again, kind of setting off my OCD. So again, I was on the hunt. And I will say this, my experience with these two products, really these three products, the two Pachmayrs and the Hogue Universal, it's all relative to this specific gun, which is kind of a tough bitch to accommodate, frankly. So if you were to put any of these products on any other gun that that they fit better, or that they were intended for, you would probably have different results, and you might be a lot happier. If I was to put these on different guns that they were intended for, or that they fit more properly, I would probably be happier with them. So I don't really want to take too much away from any of these products. It's really just, the negatives are really just in the context of trying to fit it on this specific gun. Okay. But anyway, that being said, none of them were really working for this gun. So I decided to go back to, or started to research the grip tape style grips, like the Talon grips. Of course, again, I've used a ton of Talon grips, have zero problems with them. They're good grips. So I immediately went and looked at Talon grips for this gun, and just frankly, I just didn't like the design. It was just kind of a weird, like the wraparound that went around the back strap was weird, and they had a weird piece that kind of covered over that recessed oval, and it was just the the cuts and the different things that allowed it to be one piece to fit around this specific grip just kind of looked weird to me. I didn't really like it a whole lot. Looked at some other grip tape style grips online. Fox grips, Foxx. They put out one that kind of looked pretty cool. But then I came across these grips. These are traction grips by Galloway Precision. And they're very similar to in design to the Talon grips. It's just that rubberized, that textured rubber style grip. I can't remember if traction grips, if they come in a sandpaper style finish. I'm like 99% sure that they do. So like the Talon grips, I think you have that option. Again, I went with the rubberized grips because I can't stand the sandpaper. But I thought these were pretty cool. One of the big selling points for me, because this gun has interchangeable back straps. Now I have the larger back strap on here. Realistically, I'm never going to go back to the smaller back strap. This just fits my hand better, digs into the meat of my palm better. But I kind of like the fact that just aesthetically, design wise, I thought it was cool that online I thought it was cut out along the seam of that back strap. That's the way it looked to me online. So I thought, hey, that would be awesome if I ever, for whatever reason, wanted to switch out the back straps or needed to replace it or whatever. I didn't have to remove the grip tape. But once I got it installed, realized that it actually kind of folds over onto the back strap just a little bit. Definitely completely covers that joint. So I would have to peel back that grip to remove the back strap. But still love the way it looks. So not necessarily a deal breaker, not a huge deal. Again, I'm realistically never going to remove that back strap anyway. But still, that was, again, just kind of an expectation level thing where I was, based on the pictures, I thought it was one way and it wasn't. But the way it is, not a huge deal. Other cool feature I liked, which I haven't seen on any other grip tape style grips, is this little piece that goes up onto the trigger guard. So your second finger, this gun has a cutout, a notch, to where you can get that middle finger high up into the trigger guard. Allows you to get a higher grip on the beaver tail. And it's kind of nice to feel that texture, that rubberized texture at your middle finger. So good feeling grips. Originally when I got them out of the package, I was nervous that I had read a bunch of reviews. Most of them were positive. There were a couple reviews that complained that the texture was too slick. It wasn't grippy enough. And when I got out of the package, I kind of felt that maybe that was going to be the case. It didn't feel as rubbery. It felt more like slick polymer, almost like the original, polymer grip of the pistol. Heated it up. And again, it's easy, super easy install, same as the Talon grips. It's just a relatively mild adhesive. You can peel it off and readjust it as many times as possible, or as many times as needed, rather, to get the proper fit. Once you get the proper fit, not heat gun, a little too severe, hair dryer, high heat, same deal. You're just kind of pushing it into all the grooves. You want to make sure all the edges are down, so you don't have any edges that will get caught to peel it off accidentally. So super easy install. Once I applied the heat, I felt like maybe that had softened up the texture a little bit, and it did. It felt grippier and more rubberized than it did initially out of the package. Following morning, however, it kind of went back to kind of feeling like hard polymer, and it felt more aggressive to me than I thought I was going to like. But I wanted to give it a shot. I actually wanted to shoot it before I made my final judgment. Took it to a local match, shot 4 stages with the thing, and it felt fantastic. It actually, and even now, it's definitely, I think, more aggressive, maybe. I don't know. They're pretty comparable. I was going to say it maybe feels a little more aggressive than the Talon grips, but having them side by side now, I think they're actually pretty comparable. I mean, you definitely feel that texture. It's definitely there. It is by no stretch anywhere close to like a sandpaper texture, some super overly aggressive texture like that. But you definitely feel it, but it's definitely rubberized, and it's definitely grippy. You definitely feel it. So I like it. I like it a lot. And I've only shot it, like I said, in one local match, but I like it enough to where I don't feel like I need to search any longer. I really feel like these are the grips I need for this gun. So I am a big fan. Again, traction grips from Galloway Precision. Check them out. They also have a long grocery list of custom cut grips to fit, I think, just about any pistol you're going to have within reason. So there you have it, guys. Okay, guys, there it is. A lot of information, kind of a lengthy video. But I was covering, 5 different grips from 4 different manufacturers, and really wanted to give you the pros and cons of all of them. Give you my personal experience with all of them, and give you all the information that you may need to make an educated purchase. There you have it. If you guys got something out of the video, please like me below. Send your comments if you have any questions about any of the grips that I covered. If you have experience with any of the grips that you saw in this video, or with any other grips, you want to give me some of your own personal experiences and information about those, definitely send me the comments. And of course, subscribe. If you're already a subscriber, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. If you're not, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and subscribe. I know it's been a second before I posted this video. There was a little bit of a break in between videos. That's not the norm for me, so I'm really going to try to get better about putting up videos, new content more frequently. So go ahead and subscribe, get notified whenever I do post new content. Guys, really appreciate you checking this one out, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.